Dear Georgetown County District 3 residents, are you ready for positive change in District 3? Meet Ernie Cooper, your dedicated advocate for a stronger, united community. Ernie Cooper is committed to unwavering integrity, ensuring that every decision made on the council reflects the values of our community. We want to hear from you. Ernie Cooper encourages you to submit your questions and concerns. Together, we'll build a council that truly represents the needs and aspiration of District 3, Georgetown County, where everyone plays a role. Ernie Cooper believes in fostering community involvement, ensuring that every citizen has a voice in shaping our future. We pledge transparency in every action. Ernie Cooper will keep you informed about decisions affecting our community, making sure you're always in the loop. Georgetown County thrives when everyone is equally represented. Ernie Cooper is dedicated to ensuring that every corner of District 3 has a say in the decisions that impact us all. Vote for Ernie Cooper, a leader with integrity, dedicated to communication, community involvement, and transparency. Together, let's build a Georgetown County Council that works for every resident. Your vote, your voice.
Are you tired of dealing with pesky cockroaches in your home or office? Look no further than our $200 German cockroach treatment. Our program is eco-friendly, safe for both children and adults, and will quickly eliminate any cockroaches present. Plus, our fast, effective service ensures that your property will be clean and free of any mess left behind. Don't wait until it's too late. Contact us today and enjoy a cockroach-free home or office.
Absolutely. There we go. I needed to plug my mic up. And my mic doesn't sound 100% pristine. Listen, everybody, welcome to the podcast. Y'all know how we do every Tuesday night. All right. Maybe it's the headphones that I got on. But as soon as you get in here, please go ahead and hit the like button, hit the share button. The mayor's on tonight. Now, I'm gonna let you guys know the mayor is under the weather. So first of all, I want to thank him for coming up and talking, because we are covering an important situation right now. We are in the part of the capital project sales penny tax where the projects are being submitted. And so, he wanted to come on tonight and make sure that you guys had the information that you needed as far as what's being submitted. And as for me, it's some things about this list that stands out. So listen, we're not going to do our normal long show tonight. Well, I'll be on, but I'm not going to keep them on that long. So let me bring them up, and we're going to get right into the conversation in regards to this capital project sales tax. Good evening, sir. How are you?
All right, there we go. Hey, how's everybody out there?
Hanging in there, man. I know you had.
Yeah, that old COVID thing jumped back up on me, and took me out last Thursday. And so I've been recovering, self-quarantine, doing a lot better than I have been over the last few days, but almost back, a little weak, but here to go ahead and try to, talk a little bit about, things that are important to the town, and we'll see how long I can hang in there.
No doubt. Like I said, just before we get into the capital project sales tax, this is a big thing, and I know you follow, the whole education process. It was just announced earlier in the Coastal Observer that the current superintendent has been selected to serve as the superintendent of Lexington 1. Just any thoughts, right off the top of your head?
I think it's a loss to the county. I worked closely with the superintendent, and I thought he was doing a fine job from where I sit. Of course, people have their own opinion. Super nice guy. Never not responded when I reached out to him, and I thought they had a pretty good team there. And so yeah, I think it's going to it's going to rub some folks the wrong way, but it's about choice. So I guess he's seeking a better opportunity up in Colombia, where he came from. And that's the nature of the business sometimes. What we have to do is not focus on, any negative. Just go ahead and start now looking for his replacement. And so,
and in that process, just again, not focusing on the negative, but like you got to pay attention to the obvious a lot of times, and you can see it coming. I mean, in the case, when you came back and you were, hey, I'm about to run for mayor, and you committed. When I say you committed, you bought a house, a very old house, but you bought, you invested in the community and
historical
that,
house. Mm-hmm.
That from what I understand, that this gentleman never did that. As a matter of fact, our current administrator is not invested in it, but that's just my opinion on that. I'll follow the process as well as I can.
I think, and a part of his, any leader's responsibility too is to prepare your organization for change. And
Mhm.
so then we got things when and I don't care where it is. You got to look at where people are coming from. Is he young in his career, or she, whomever it may be, and this may very well be a place that you get your feet wet, understand what it is, and then go back to where you really want to serve. I don't know if Columbia is his home, but I can imagine that, like me, it's an honor for me to serve, my community. This is where I was born and raised. And so if the path was stopping somewhere else to get here, then I'm sure I would have taken that. And now the thing is, did he do a good job while he was here? Did he put things in
That's the
place?
question.
Yeah.
That's a
Did
great
he,
question.
that's what we should be looking at. Did he set the district up for success? And then you respect that and wish him well, and then again begin to look for, because the kids still got to get educated. Things got to keep moving. So if all of our hopes and dreams are in one person, then that's a recipe for failure. And so I know Dr. Giles is there. I met some of the other staff members. My good friend is no longer there, which I think is kind of hurt that district. Miss Milton, I think she was really good at what she did there, Miss Myrtle Milton. But people change, things happen, people move around, but you got to make sure that your organization can sustain itself when if you have to depart, or get sick and you're out of the net for a while. So if the strength is in one person, then that's already a failed organization.
Absolutely. That's yeah, one point of contact failure, or 1 point of failure. That's not
Single point of failure. Yes, sir.
single point of failure.
It's never good. If you're an organization, you're playing golf, that's all on you, because it's individual, more or less an individual sport. This is a team.
Yep.
And so I wish
All
them
right.
well, because again, it all our kids depend on the great leadership. So
Okay. So let's get into this thing here. Capital project sales tax. They were recently in Andrews, South Carolina. Can you give us a rundown of what happened when they came in this last series? What were they there for, and what did you guys ended up doing?
ironically, officially the last day on work before I got sick, but it was a good day for the town. I think we presented our projects. There were four of the five projects that the town council voted on, made it on the list. We opted not to submit the fifth one because it was a long-term thing, and we believe we have another avenue to get those funds. So we, again, trying to be good stewards, trying to be reasonable about our projects, get those things that are critical. So bottom line is, in this process where these guys are, the commission, is now they have, as of the 1st of April, they have received that list. That's the final list. Now, there should not be any adjustments to that. Slight adjustments, but not major adjustments in my opinion. But that's what was submitted by the 1st of April. And so where they are now, they're going around, continuing that to circulate throughout the county to hold their meetings, and then go down through the projects and begin to evaluate them and score them. And if there are any additional questions, they will discuss that with the sponsoring agency to ensure they fully understand everything that you've submitted, so we can give it a fair evaluation. And so we had that opportunity last Thursday to present those things and helping them see the big picture, and then now what's important for us is to continue to follow this process, because things change as you go about. We got to make sure that our projects are still or will be in that top tier, if not the number one projects, because they are critical to the needs of the town. And that's just town. It affects people 15, 20 miles out because of our students that comes to Andrews, all the way from Santee, Old Cedars, Sampit, Big Dam. So as they measure these things, they look at how does these projects improve the quality of life and things across the county. And we certainly reach out at least 20 miles to the tune of about 11,000 people almost daily. So it's kind of how we sold ours, and based on those facts. And as I go through, I also look at other projects. One of the points that came out by one of the members that asked a question about the amount of money that we were requesting.
And what's that total? What's that total of the amount? Because all right, here at the bottom of the screen here, guys, what you're looking at, right above that $210 million figure there, you see the town of Andrews, which is P61, P60, and P59. And so so P59 is town of Andrews water and sewer improvement, and that's $627,333.
Yeah, what one of the options were to, if you have a shovel-ready project, which we have several of them, you could also request for the matching funds that you apply to these things and get those back, and then use those funds to go towards grants, future grants, which we're in that cycle now to write grants. And that was a very smart move, I believe, on our part to do that. And then, because again, these things are not, you're going to have some investment into the grants. So match dollars, somewhere at 25%, some 10%, depends on where the funds are coming from, or what their requirements are. But you have to have money to get money.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so that's what that particular item is, P59.
All right. And a higher price tag is P60, is town of Andrews storm water improvement, $6.5 million.
Well, yeah. And again, this is a project that was already in place and funded, which was initiated. It was a joint effort with the town of Andrews and Georgetown County back in, I think, around 2019. And so, we did a water storm drain study, flood mitigation, whatever you want to call it, of the entire town to find out where our flooding spots. And so they modeled our entire town and outside of the town where the outfalls, are supposed to drift. And so then out of that modeling, that was about an 8-month process, they learned where we have about 8 locations inside the city limits that flood every time it rains. And so one of the solutions that came out of that study was to create another outfall in the middle of the town, which is vicinity of the rec department. And so the intent to put in another outfall, which would give us 3, that it will channel most of the water, 75%, something in that neighborhood, 75% of the storm water to that outfall, which would take it back out south, down south of Myrtle Road, on out to Johnson Swamp. But what happened, and again, this project was administered. That had the administration part of this project was the responsibility of the county. We did well, you had their engineers, everybody, associated with it, but it got down to the bidding. It came in over bid, I think, over $1 million. And so because we weren't managing it, we didn't have direct oversight of what was going on until we found later that this thing had really stopped in place. And so, that's neither here and there, because we still have the flooding situation. So we submitted this for these funds. Now, if the county receives these, the additional $1 million, then that pretty much will come off the plate, and then again, which saves them another $6.5 million. But right now, it's a high demand because we still have residents that are flooding out. So that's how this one made it to the list. But again, what's a little concerning, I didn't see in any of the Georgetown County submissions where it asked for this additional $1 million that they were short to restart this project. And so then didn't see that, didn't have any communication on that. So we submitted as one of our top 4 projects.
And the total number of projects you submitted was, you said 4?
4, yes.
All right. And so the third here is let's see, Town Public Works Fire Facility. That's one.
Yeah, that's generally a metal building, because if you and I wish we had the pictures to show them, that building is far beyond its lifespan. It's literally fallen in and has been assessed with black mold and asbestos and all kinds of stuff. So we have cut off that part of that building, and the only thing that's left is really just a maintenance bay. You can get a couple of vehicles in there, but there's no bathroom facilities, no office space, no place to store the supplies, which is a requirement, obviously. And so we have none of that right now. And so Public Works is just kind of really operating outside. And that's obviously not the most efficient, the best conditions to work in, and it puts them health-wise in harm's way. So what we had decided as a part of the council's decision was to build this building, 4 bays. I think the model we gave them had 4 bays, and again, those basic the basic capacity that needs to conduct operations, we gave that to them, and then we had 1 bay identified to be to house the one of the fire engines, the one that's currently up at Town Hall right now. And so we were going to, until we get through this lawsuit and get our building completed. That was the intent behind that. Again, another project that was well received by the commission, and hopefully nothing changing that score is pretty high, because it's a matter of health and really giving these guys the ability to do their job out of the inclement weather.
All right, and the 4th would be P50, which is Town of Andrews Water System Improvement.
Yeah,
no joke.
So one thing I want to tell people know, and our water, we have some of the best water in the state. We have plenty of it. The challenge that we have is, again, pipes and being able, get these things automated, get an update, because right now everything is done manually. Obviously, the piping system, a part of this request is to replace, these 5 miles of pipe and get that system up and functioning, properly, and being able to do that, remotely in some of the cases. What this is then a lot of this stuff came out again of we did a water modeling, flow modeling test to ensure that we have sufficient water in all, across the town, should we have another major fire like we did, I think a little over a year ago. And as the administrator described it, we had plenty of water in that section, but a block or so down there would not have had the same water flow, because again, all of the things that needs to be updated. And again, that's a critical one, because as we stated, we serve a lot of people, 4 schools, dialysis, clinics, and all those things. So if we run out of water, that really affects people right away. And so when we get this in place, we'll have the ability to isolate problems, manage the system efficiently. You don't have to be on site because everything right now is manual, eyes on, having to go out every day to ensure that the system is functioning properly. And so that this project will resolve a lot of that. So those are the ones that we submitted, again, approved by the council and received by the commission.
No doubt. So I got you at $10,669,708.
Yep, and that's exactly what I. Yep, that's exactly what I have. A little over 10 million. It sounds like a lot of money, huh?
That's a drop in the bucket to what Georgetown County got up there. Now, I went through their list, and let me tell you, one of the things that's kind of, to me, and it's just to me, there's I don't know if it's incompetence or arrogance that I see in this list, and I'll point out just a couple things. Now, one of the things that I want the viewers to see, those in Georgetown County in different areas, and like I said, we'll get through this here relatively fast, because I'm about to bring Miss Wilson up to the Democratic chairperson from Williamsburg County. There was some questions about a clip that I put out regarding the EBT program, and we're gonna do a deeper dive into that. But back to this list that Georgetown County put it. Now, first of all, they projecting to get about what, $100 million from this capital project sales tax, somewhere around there.
80 to 100 million, based on the maximum years of collection is 8.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. So without even talking about the projects right now, this is the figure that Georgetown County has submitted in projects, which is $95,454,193. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And again, I'm not questioning whether or not there's a need or not for these projects, but they are disproportionately. There's nowhere around Andrews, none in Lambertown, none in the west side of the county. Not a lot of. There's a lot of money there. Again, let me put that figure back up there. But I don't know. Maybe you saw some on there that was directed to this side of the county, but I didn't see a lot of that. Okay.
No, and I'm actually doing the same thing. Again, because we don't have any representation on that commission. So then I am it, and so I need to know what everybody else is doing. So if it comes down to where there's going to be some negotiation around the table, I have to be aware. So I've spent some time on this thing here the last couple of days, and I wasn't down and out, and I don't see any of their projects, or either road or whatever, have impact in Andrews or in Andrews, and that's. So I don't know. I haven't talked.
And let's be clear: when you say Andrews, we talking about not just the town of Andrews.
Mm-hmm. I can't say 100%. I don't know where Luke Road is. I don't know if that's Lambertown, but I don't see that. But I do see the water and sewer projects. That's Georgetown.
That's Georgetown County Water and Sewer District.
Yeah. So, it's important that I think everybody, read this list and see how it impacts your area, because that is a lot. In fact, if all of these projects go through, then nobody else gets anything.
Well, here's something that caught my eye. Right.
Mm-hmm.
On the screen, you can see the list there. Let's see if I got the right one up here. Okay. So Georgetown County, let me pull the other list up there. Georgetown County is presented these lists for road improvements, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then and again, maybe there's more detail in the in their
Yeah, the applications are
in the
required.
application. I'm sure there's more detail, but I would love to know why Georgetown County. Let's see, if you look at P37, which is Plantersville Road Improvement, Georgetown County, and South Carolina Department of Transportation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which is the South Carolina Department of Transportation has got a lot of money. So I don't know why they would need to lean on Georgetown County for funds, but they're asking for $1,211,842. Now, okay, maybe well needed, whatever. But then you come down here to where is that at? P53, and then you got Plantersville road improvements again. Same entity, Georgetown County, SCDOT. Why wouldn't they have that all in one? And here's another on the bottom down here. They're asking for $571,025. You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I didn't see that. That's interesting. I didn't see that. I don't know if it's the typically
That ain't no typo. That ain't no typo. That's what I'm talking about. I don't know if it's arrogance or ignorance. I'm just like
see that.
in my limited, education, I caught that, and it's a couple of other things in here. One of the other things in here that I caught, and again, I'm not going to hold you much longer.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
One of the other things I caught is the Merle's Inlet dredging, right, for $21 million. Well, again, Andrews High, a little bit, been a couple of days in a couple colleges. You know what I mean? Didn't graduate, but I was there. I did learn something while I was there, and I could read before I got there, right? And so if I go back, okay, and that's the power of the internet. If I go back a little bit here, where would I find that at? Let's see, is this the one? I think that's it. Okay, so if I go back here, right, we take a time machine and go back to 2014. We see here Merle's Inlet dredging. These funds are not supposed to be for sustainability, are they?
No, that's no, and they state that clearly states that.
Because that's what that sounds like to me. Again,
that is because if it's not a new project or a structure that can't be moved, and it says dredging is a bona fide or a legitimate project. But to your point, if we did this in 14 and we're doing the same thing in the same area in 10 years later, then that does sound a lot like you maintaining it, and that's not okay according to Sales Tax Act.
And I mean, when this thing kicked off, the big thing was dredging Winyard Bay so the cruise ships and commercial ships could come in. And
yeah, that's certainly, and I believe the commission should have the same questions for that submittal, because it does look like it's the maintainer. It's just, and that's just the nature of the beast. And with that kind of a problem set, it's going to always be there.
Always,
it's going to that stuff will wash back out, build back up, and then you can't get even the smaller boats in some of the areas. It's, as one gentleman stated, the boats are sitting on mud. So it'll be interesting to see where they go with that, but that is a chunk of change.
Yeah, $95 million.
A third of the expected, total amount.
And so my question again: this entity is this one of these? Is the Georgetown County Water and Sewer District. Is this one of these semi-government organizations?
It's titled a Special Purpose District, and so which gives it makes it eligible for funds like the municipalities or the county in some cases, but it's also a private organization. So I don't know.
Okay,
I'm
what
not
I'm
a
asking.
smart guy on that. I got to do some more research. But it's like the SCIP grant. We got the 7 million. I think they got somewhere in the neighborhood, either 7 or 10, and so they do qualify, which begs the question. And so this thing that the Sanford and Santee has been, asking for all these many years, it should have been considered as a part of a capital improvement projects.
Well, they got it. They got it here.
Well, not now. I'm talking about as a part of your standard capital improvement projects. It should have been either in the county or the district who does all of the, plumbing, if you will, for like all that.
And there you go. Okay, so that's what I mean.
Yeah,
it's listed under the Georgetown County Water and Sewer District and not a project that the Georgetown County went after.
Because I don't know. I'm assuming because those guys, that's what they do. So the sewer district, that's what they do. Okay. County is more. They don't get into the plumbing and that kind of business. They are roads and ditches and that kind of stuff.
And so they're asking for $12,791,010 for that project, and I got to talk to my man down there and find out if if this goes through for them, will they still have to pay? Because that was a big issue with the citizens down there, was that I guess one of the holdups was the fact that they was asking them to pay some astronomical amount that the people weren't comfortable with paying.
And I'll give me a second. And I will tell you, tap fees across the board, whether you small Andrews, big county, Columbia, tap fees are very expensive, especially talking sewer.
And what are tap fees? Tapping into the.
So then it's like the town of Andrews. We own the main system, so our main lines will be running, parallel to the residents. And so then for them to get that service, whether it's water or sewer, they have to, bring their plumbing out to meet the town system. And that's just simply tapping into the system. And so at some point between their property and where the town's line is where these two systems meet to provide them that public, that service. That you'll see us, and you can go to the Georgetown County Water and Sewer page. They have a very elaborate cost or fees sheet. So everything, and it's pretty normal. Everything has a dollar, has a price tag on it. So, for example, you can end up paying $3,000 to $5,000 to tap into the sewer line. To your question, and what the people need to be asking in that application, does that $12 million cover the tap fees as well, or is it just to run the lines there? So if it's to run the lines there, then now there's a plumbing requirement for the resident to bring it from their house to meet that main line out there somewhere in the middle of the road or in the easement somewhere. And somebody's got to pay for that. Either it's built into this thing, which I doubt it, or a plumber. They're going to have to hire a plumber and then, go through the application fee to tap into the system. Those are the questions that need to be asked. When this thing was being built, and whomever submitted that has all the answers.
Those are the questions I want to know. Who submitted all these projects? And what level of detail again?
Now, and I would say this too. I think, and I believe I'm on point. Just because that says Georgetown Water and Sewer, let me see if that says the sponsoring. Yeah, it says sponsoring entity. So I don't know if it came from Mr. Kennedy's organization or was it, for example, one of the council member who said, "I want sewer down here, and here's the packet," and that would be the agency that they work with.
Well, before I got kicked out of that meeting with Everett Carolina, he never mentioned that. That's what I found interesting about this. He never said this as an option for them. You know what I mean? He never, because when I saw it on it, I was like, okay, well that makes sense. You know what I mean? And so it didn't make any sense that he didn't bring up or even say, well, hey, look, let's look at this. You know, he was trying to hustle off the pickleball court down there in down there and look at it, he looked like a pickle too. He looked like a pickle too.
I'm not following you up there, Mr. Shimon.
Hey, listen, this was the worst staged political event ever. This was horrible. There's no children there, right? And it's and that was it. You know what I mean? I'm not disparaging none of them people, but that was it. Like, and I got this young lady that lives across from she watches, right? And she lives across the street from that park, and she's been monitoring, right? And there's been nobody playing no pickleball there. So we're gonna see how long this continues, which is another court I rode by. Andrews is like mini Wimbledon. They can host Wimbledon. That's what you need to look at. You need to look at getting a tournament down here, man, because all them courts, man, in Andrews. You know what I mean? It's just like even the white people don't even play tennis down here, man, or pickleball. So it's just like they talk about Venus and Serena. Man, listen. Oh man, that is
great things come from wild ideas sometimes.
It's crazy, man. But and that's okay. One last question on that, and then I'm gonna bring Ms. Wilson up. Has the county administrator, from anything you know about, has there been any
you're coming up with a tough question now.
Yeah. So has there been any questions? I mean, has there been anything said about the fact that the firemen who entered the project, because from what I saw on live, they didn't even mention the project that they submitted. But has there been anything said about how this person was allowed to submit this project?
No, and I didn't. There was some sidebar conversations, just trying to sort through that, because it was different, obviously, from what we had submitted as a body, and so that generated some interesting public relations discussion. But no, I would say I think at the end of the day, after several conversations with key people in place, that it was not one that came from the governing body, and so it wasn't recognized as a legitimate project, and so kind of left it there. It didn't come up in our session last week, and hopefully it would go away. But just from the system management aspect of it, I think there's someone needs to figure out, and not just this. This is a reoccurring
theme with
when it comes to us
and Georgetown County. Yep.
And so, just another one of one of those things that you're going to have to look internally and see what needs to be adjusted to ensure, because this on both ends, to be honest with you, because this should not have happened. But it wasn't a mistake. It just should not have happened, and it did. And I think it was handled very professionally by the folks I spoke with outside of the town, and we moved on and gave I thought was a very convincing presentation of the projects that were submitted by this body.
No doubt. I had one more question. You talk about tough question. I had one for you too.
I'm here. I got my water here, and
okay. I had one.
I'm good.
What was I gonna ask? What was I gonna ask? Anyway, let me bring up the town. You know what? She's not here as a town administrator. She's the Democratic chair from Williamsburg County. Bringing her up to the stage here, Ms. Wilson. How you doing, Ms. Wilson?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Apparently, you triggered some Trumpians, some of our rogue members. You know, we got got two or three of them in every family. Uh, so some people were triggered by a clip that I found it fascinating that the state of South Carolina, and let me pull this. There was an article in the South Carolina Daily Gazette,
Mm-hmm.
and they won't let me access that, but I have pretty much this part of it. Let me get this set up here. And what triggered them, and I don't have that video set up, but was the fact that South Carolina did not continue the summer EBT program.
Right.
Right. And again, one of my you know what I mean, one of my peoples, they gets upset about that. And they be the biggest user of the EBT. You know what I mean? That's why I don't know why they be fronting, but we get into that too. And they apparently like fentanyl too. I'm sorry. It's crazy that we even have to have these discussions. You know, people won't just do a little bit of reading, so they rather do listening. So
And is my camera still out of focus?
Let me see. Get back to it a little bit. Yep, it's doing its own thing.
Let's see here. What's happening?
But what triggered the person was this. But here's this right here. South Carolina has sent tax dollars to other states for the summer food program, even though some of the poorest states in the country have turned have turned away their own tax dollars for the program. These states include South Carolina, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, Florida, Texas, and Wyoming. All red. God, it's they gonna stop. They try to stop out the poor in the red state, man. That's, oh my God. It's likely that poor states. It's likely that poor states like South Carolina could receive more federal funds from the food program than South Carolina taxpayers contribute to it. South Carolina's state budget generally includes spending on government salaries, infrastructure, education, public pension, public assistance, corrections, Medicaid. So, Ms. Wilson, please elaborate a little bit more on that situation to you know, and the person was trolling, but I think, you know, or they was just ignorant. But please tell us a little bit more about that, what the state did. The impact is obvious, you know what I mean?
Right.
But
right. And yes, there are 14 or 15 states that have opted out, but South Carolina led the way in denying this funding. And there's a twofold to it. The PEBT portion, and then also adding additional funding to folks who receive SNAP benefits for their children during the summer. So if they already received the SNAP benefits, there would have been an extra layer for them there, but also for parents whose children already receive free lunch, they would have fallen into that category to receive some funding for food throughout the summer. But we were the first to say, no, we're not even worried about the January 1st deadline to respond. We're done. So we kind of led the way in that, you know, denying funding for our children in this state.
we got a history of that in South Carolina. You know, we was the first one to break away from the union. I mean, that's just facts. History matters.
Historical facts. Things that people don't seem to like when we talk about this nation and this state. You know, this history has a certain stain across the board and in various ways that we keep denying, but they are very real and very prevalent today in certain actions and behaviors.
Well, and I mean that's it's the truth. Is we fall victim to it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. We keep repeating the
Uh,
same things. You look at certain legislation that's happening right now. You're returning back to the 1800s and early 1900s in a lot of ways. South Carolina is one of two states in the nation that have not passed the hate crime bill. South Carolina and Wyoming. Wyoming is also on that list of rejecting any additional federal funds. And I'm all for the rights to bear arms. I own weapons myself. Any weapon I've purchased, I've been able to purchase and walk out of that store in less than 15 minutes.
I mean, but if you living in Wyoming and you look like me, you kind of asking for it. I'm just gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like,
So I mean, but so if that's the case, then think about Utah. Think about the landscape of Utah and the demographics.
you better be scrapped out there, because I mean, like.
But again, I'm talking about the hate crime bill, not we can't pass a hate crime bill, but we can pass open carry. And like I said, I don't have any issues with open carry, but I do think you need to be educated for such. And I think the age limit is too low. So taking out the being trained on a weapon component is very dangerous. It's dangerous to law enforcement. It's dangerous to individuals who do not know how to use weapons properly. If you've never picked up a weapon, you don't know how to load it properly. You look at individuals who hurt themselves every day, children. So this is essentially putting weapons in the hands of children, because if you've never experienced something, that's what's happening.
And so these decisions come via our senators and state representatives.
Yes, sir. And what South Carolina is what you call a supermajority. It's
Okay.
majority Republican base. So they did not need one Democratic vote in order to pass the open carry bill. Not one was needed.
And I don't. I mean, I know a lot of people are unaware of the fact that is law now.
Mm-hmm.
It's this. I heard somebody make a comment this morning. You know what I mean? And I said, half jokingly, but I'm not. The right to vote. I know how un-American that might sound, but boy, everybody don't need to be voting. It's dangerous. I'm just, what I mean? That's me as a podcaster. You know what I mean? But
and there are a lot of things that I personally believe are dangerous that I won't get into in this particular circumstance. But yeah, because you have to be very careful on, if you're going to be out here teaching children or raising children and things of that nature. There's certain evaluations that need to be done. You see every day about these women and men who prey upon children. I mean, 10 and 11-year-olds, and you have people in their 30s and 40s as predators. So it's a scary across the board. So
yeah, they
if
said
they're doing that, imagine what they're doing with their vote.
They said they had to take R. Kelly's iPad here during the prom season here.
See, I can't.
You could tell a lot of daddies wouldn't buy them dresses. I'm sorry. It's the coffee. But it's the truth. I'm just
yeah. I mean, there are a lot of sick people in this world.
Yes.
So again, then they're out here voting and doing whatever else. So, like you said, it's our American right. It is our civil right. And if we think about it, you've had less than 60 years of the right to do so. So anybody that's apathetic about it is a little disturbing to me. If they, don't really understand. Do with your vote as you wish. We prefer for you to pay attention and do some research, and don't work off of emotion, because that's people's favorite thing to do. I feel this way without any actual knowledge. What you feel may be one thing, and feelings have people in the graveyard today, but actual knowledge and facts about historical information and why things are the way they are, policy, practice, and procedure is something else.
And that's why that person made that comment. You know what I mean? Because they felt like, they feel when they hear food stamps, when they hear, I heard the last weekend, and I wanted to tap into that too. When I have Miss Marilyn back on, she was mentioning the low income housing. And when people hear these things, these are like buzzwords for people, and they think, oh, a ghetto, a project, and this is one of the problems. From
Absolutely.
I was talking to my partner in Columbia today, in this house right across the street from him, and this is Northeast. This is kind of a rough neighborhood. You know what I mean? Three bedroom house, 2 or 1.5 bath, $219,000. You know what I mean? And so we that led to the conversation of, man, young people, it's going to be hard for them to come out, as a young couple and be able to start in a small house like that or however. But but those people don't understand low income housing, what it means.
They stigmatize those words because a teacher is low to moderate income. This is who you send your children to and entrust them to pour into them every day. They are, building our future leaders, but they can barely afford, to have, and then there's so many incentives out there, incentive for, if you buy a vehicle from here, or, we have loans, specifically for teachers. No, it shouldn't be that way. Compensate them properly so that they don't have to look for housing that you call affordable housing that you stigmatize, or workforce housing is the term that they want to use now. But in reality, they don't make enough money to make ends meet. A lot of them have second and third jobs, and they work throughout the summer just to have some supplemental income. Because yes, they are paid throughout the summer months, but it's still not enough. But we're out here stigmatizing phrases because, like you said, we want to relegate them to certain communities. Black people are only 13% of this nation. So if you think about 13%, and then everybody else fall where they fall, we're not the majority users of any federal programming or services. Even services.
It's at the prison.
Well, yes. Yeah. Your numbers are 50% and beyond when it comes to that.
But I mean, and
that is a federal program.
And then to think that,
private programs.
There you go. Which is
But right, when you look at your run-of-the-mill, everyday, hardworking citizen, they more than likely fall into that category. And the way that the housing market is now, it's crazy. Nobody can afford to buy anything right now. And even if they were able to 5 years ago, it was still hard. But you're talking about housing prices that have tripled and quadrupled in a matter of a year or two. And it's crazy. So what do you expect for people to do? But again, you want to stigmatize something because people want to have something. Or if you talk about people who actually have to live in those subsidized homes or HUD homes or things of that nature, they put them in a circumstance of where if you make too much money, you're going to be instead of calling you homeless now, that it's now unhoused. You're going to be where are you going to live?
You'll be unhoused.
Where are you going to live? I can't even afford to work because you're going to penalize me for trying to improve my circumstances. So what can a person do? People like to say, oh, they're lazy and they don't want to work. No, you put it in a way that I can't, that I have to leave this place that I've set up to have shelter for me and my children because I make $1 too much.
Yeah. And that, I've been, I've been working in the area, and that's a whole, because, oh man, it is, we have enough examples out here for me to like, okay, that's why I didn't end up on alcohol or crack. Okay, because there was enough living examples for me to be like, nah, I don't think that might be the smartest choice. And that's hopefully that's where we reach that point to people start making choices, better choices than they end up in. Because we're going to have an event focusing on fatherhood the weekend of Father's Day at Jones Avenue in the park, because that's a big part of that puzzle. You know what I mean? as to why, I guess we're getting a lot of as to why we're getting these results. You know what I mean? Because these girls ain't having these babies by themselves.
Absolutely.
And and a lot of it is like, well, before y'all even have the baby, you probably need to slow down and start having a different conversation before we get to that point. You know what I mean? Because it's
But when we talk about that, and everybody's choice is their own, whether you're pro-life or pro-choice, but we have to be realistic. If you are pro-life, let's make sure that we're talking about the duration. So when this child is born, that they have adequate access to proper health care with doctors in their communities, that we don't have hospital and food deserts, that their mothers can get the proper care that they need while they're pregnant with them, and also after these pre and postnatal care. We're talking about kindergarten, preschool, things of that nature, making sure that there's adequate funding across the board for those type of services. And again, in the summer months, that these children can have something to eat. So it's across the board. We need to care about these children while they're in the womb and once they get here.
No doubt. And that's yeah, yeah. I read a letter the other day, y'all, from a kindergarten, and I gotta edit it up before I read it, y'all. He spelled a lot of stuff right, but the stuff this child was saying was like, God, dog, like, whoa, and it wasn't good. It wasn't good at all, and it's just yeah,
Traumatic, I guess.
yeah, it was and it makes me wonder, about these schools. Like, you got to be careful, like, I mean, where you put your child, like, you know what I mean, because the three of us, we're having this conversation, and people around us, but there's an element that's not, you know what I mean, and I think the school systems cater to that element a little more than they should, as for, and I know they got the programs where they isolate them, put them in alternate schools and stuff like that, but that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother thing.
Right.
Anything. So that date, that magic date that people need to be registered to vote in the primaries coming up here.
May 11th. Please be registered to vote by May 11th. If you are going to be 18 by June 11th, you can register by that date. It's as long as you're going to be 18 by June 11th, or if you're not sure about your address, go to scvotes.org. You can check your information online. You can register online. You can host a voters registration drive at your church, civic organization, wherever. You do not have to wait on somebody that you feel is in a position to do so. You can do it. You are the person to do so. So scvotes.org.
Okay. VOTES. That'll be there now. All right, scvotes.org, and you can go register online. You don't have to go in, just have your license and information there.
Right. They'll mail it to you.
And here's that number for the Democratic Party in Williamsburg County, and there's Georgetown County scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Any events coming up in Williamsburg County with the party? I was over in Williamsburg County. I'm sorry. Let me shout out my man Torrance Wilson, Councilman District 2 Torrance Wilson, and State Representative Lucas Atkinson, who is up for he's up for election this year, and they brought like $164,000 split between two parks, which was taught me a lot. The power of a 501c, working with your county council member or whatever. But he brought, some funds to Stuckey, out to the COSS,
COSS.
COSS, yeah. And then over to
St. Mark. No, not St. Mark. Over to Morrisville Community Center. So I thought that was cool going on over there. And he's not even running for election this year. I thought that was cool. So, all right, Mayor, anything?
No, hey, I'm trying to get back in the fight here, but just encourage people to pay attention to this process, and because it's like, yeah, you all were talking about the voting in November. Is going to make a decision to vote on these projects for the capital project sales tax and also for the local option sales tax, which I think this week or next week, maybe is it next week or May? I don't know. We're scheduled to have a meeting to discuss the particulars of the loss referendum in that business. So May, yeah. So all important stuff. I mean, it's like we're watching the candidates. We got to watch these other things that are on the ballots, and to ensure that we're making the right decision.
In the case of the superintendent, would there be like a special election or something like that?
No, he is hired by the school board.
It's the same process that he just went through. They choose. So
Yeah.
we'll have a list of candidates, and they'll go through this whole process again.
So I'm sure they're scrambling now, which I think at this another less than a month left in school. So they have some time. I'm saying that to go through that process and hopefully select the right one for this county.
It's gonna be and I'm assuming he'll ride it out the rest of the year. I don't think there's much he could. I don't know how the process works. But I've been tracking and people, some people congratulating him, some people, but
you're gonna get mixed emotions, and people speak their mind on these social media, and it gets ugly sometimes.
Warriors.
So I'm sure he'll be fine. He's moving on, and again, we got to focus on Georgetown County and getting the right person to fill that position.
That part.
Yeah. So let the games begin. We also got a new principal coming into Rosemary. You talked about that a lot. So a lot of moving pieces. We got to make sure, again, it's us, people in the leadership position, to ensure that these kids, they don't feel the impact of all of this, people moving around. That's what's important.
No diggity, sir. Miss Wilson, I ain't gonna. That's it, man. I know you're under the weather, so we can put a pin in that right there. I think I got.
Hey, hold up. Must there was a draft this past.
Oh, hey, listen, that's all you had to say, man. I can load this up. Well, we can talk basketball now. Give me 1 second.
There's an autism, big event.
Oh man, there we go. Listen, I was trying to go light on you. I know you're under the weather, but I don't
want people. There's a lot of great
everything.
I will let you gentlemen have at it. As soon as we get the date for the King Street Lake City Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta's candidate forum, I will be sharing that with you so you can pass that around. But that'll be happening in May.
What's going on?
He was asking about upcoming events, and that particular chapter normally handles a candidate forum. And so as soon as I get that date and flyer, I'm going to be sharing that with him.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, you gentlemen have a great rest of your evening.
Okay.
All right.
So autism walk.
We got to talk about that. That's man, that event, that annual event is starting to grow. I could not, unfortunately, I was under the weather. I couldn't attend, but I saw the work that you did through your photography business. I captured some great photos, and so I'm very excited to Mrs. Cooper Neesmith, and everybody that was involved in that thing. I saw the high school, I think it was softball team.
Yeah, yep, they were out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they got to go to. They were telling me it was like, yeah, next year we're gonna have to go to the high school, and I'm like, yeah, it's I mean, you know, it's gonna be on the level. I can see it. It's gonna be on the same level as the breast cancer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we need to get back to that too, because we used to do the walk and
The 24-hour thing.
Relay for Life, and we
Yeah.
haven't done that in years. It used to be on the track field out there. But
I remember that.
I think we got to get back to that, man, because there's still a lot of work to be done to find something to combat these diseases. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, that was very impressed and pleased with the people. Yeah, look at it, led by old candidate Cooper.
There he is.
I got him out front. They lead the people.
Hey, what's crazy is this photo right here.
Yeah.
Last year, the first photo I took was of some of these same 4 people right here.
Okay.
And I was just like, wow, that's crazy. Yeah, it was huge out there.
Greeks are out.
No doubt. I had a bunch of questions about that. I didn't know.
Hey, things have changed, man. The paradigm shift.
Hey man, listen again. I'm listen. I'm old school, so I mean, you got to work with me because.
Hey, Omega, hey, very diverse now.
Apparently so.
Has been for some time, but the door is wide open apparently in some of the chapters.
I see that. I was like, wow, there go that stranger right there.
Oh, he's that the former citizen of Andrews. Now was that Richland County he's in?
I believe so, somewhere out there.
I know he's cut above us now, brother Mark Richardson. And before I forget to, man, shout out to my dad. Today is his 79th birthday, so we'll be celebrating his birthday on Saturday.
Man, I know where I'll be hanging out that Saturday evening.
Mardi Gras style. He loves, he wanted to go to Bourbon Street. Or he wanted to be a part of that, but he don't want to go. He don't want to fly or drive. We're gonna bring it to him, man. We're gonna bring Bourbon Street to him.
That's what's up. Man. I got another video here I want to play from Autism Walk. Yeah, that was that they did a great job, man. They did another great job with that. Had Andrews' own. The keynote speaker was Dr. Miranda. Hayward.
Okay.
Yeah, she was the because she's in education, and I think her area of expertise is special needs.
Okay.
Because she was talking about how that the whole approach to special needs is.
Hello, my name is Dr. Miranda Hayward, a product of Andrews, South Carolina.
And I had her say that. I was like, don't forget to say that part right there.
Yes, important.
Hello, my name is Dr. Miranda Hayward, a product of Andrews, South Carolina. I am here this morning supporting my classmate, Andrea Cooper Neesmith, at the annual Autism Walk.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I don't know if I know her.
That's what's her sister? What's her sister's name?
And you say Hayward?
Yeah, Bonnie Hayward's daughter.
Okay, got it. I know you're speaking of now. Yes.
Yeah, that's what's her sister was at.
She's at the Girl Scout.
Absolutely.
I know I'm struggling with the name. Yeah. I know now. I know the family. but that's awesome. Yeah, we've got some great folks that have gone off from Andrews and done great things. So to see them come back and be a part of events like this is very, very special. So shout out to the Dr. Hayward, and to the Cooper Neesmith family for that great event, and everyone that came out to support. I know us. I just couldn't get out there, but you brought it to us.
No doubt. Also, I went out.
I think I may have heard this story.
Yeah, I went out with the Girl Scouts, and they were on a bike ride out there at let's get some of these loaded up here. Out at Cypress, at the Cypress Preserve, and it was a great event, and I was enjoying myself right up until the time I fell and separated my shoulder. This shoulder right here, you know what I mean? But it ended up being.
Let them know you got an injured shoulder out there. They might try to grab you.
Yeah. I wouldn't try that right now. You will get shot or stabbed at this point right here. Because man, listen, that shoulder is it's not the pain. The pain is gone. You know what I mean?
Long way down.
The good thing was that none of the girls saw me fall. You know, they didn't even know what happened. So you know what I mean. And it was awkward because when I got up, that joker was my arm was hanging down. But
was that at the Cypress?
Yeah, when they first arrived.
Okay.
And it was just beautiful, man, to see them just just enjoy the nature. And I had a good conversation with this lady and the other two guides. And we were talking about, the importance of these kids connecting with what we have here. You know what I mean?
Nature, yeah.
Them learning to appreciate exactly what's here, and in an effort to to retain some of this talent, here in the area.
I agree. I absolutely love that area, man. I mean, that's where you can get them out there, and it's a nice, peaceful, beautiful, learn a lot. You have their undivided attention, not distracted by traffic, and just pour into these kids, and so again, kudos to our scout leaders, Ms. Vermel and Mrs. Luann for the awesome work. They're not slowing down. So this wasn't, let's get it formed and we go sit down. These ladies and these young ladies are certainly on the move.
Absolutely. And just to bring that up, an example of that is, why aren't you showing up?
I saw something. There you go.
Well, why can't I see it?
That's a fish fry?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's up. It's up.
Okay, there it is. I don't know. Okay, my internet's lagging big time. All right, yeah, and that's this Saturday, April 20th, from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m.
It's going to be a busy weekend. You have the Phi Beta Sigma has an event at the Jerusalem Association, our center. Of course, the big Mardi Gras for Mr. James Frank McClary. His birthday will be happening out in Big Dam, aka Mexico. That's what he calls it. He says, I don't have any authority over there, so don't come up with trying to rule. I'm not the mayor in Big Dam. I said, okay, Pop, gotcha. There's another event that's happening. It escapes me right now, but it's going to be a busy day. And then the following weekend will be the Riding Divas, their big community event, parade, and festival. Look at them, man. I love this stuff.
So that's the last. I took this shot, and then I took.
And you took a dip.
From right there, and I was out.
Look at those beautiful little ladies.
Yeah, that's when we were back there eating, having lunch. And so, they split them up. Some of them went on a hike, and then, a bunch of them went on a bike ride. and it was
get a good workout in.
Man, listen, they those the ladies who doing the tours. You know, if you guys happen to watch this, I had a great time, and I'm okay. But here's the thing: y'all ride them bikes through them woods every day, so you don't realize how fast you be going.
They're getting at it, huh?
Man, that line stretches out so long.
Hey, I remember me, Mr. Booby Mays, Mr. Jerome Johnson, all of us. You were out there, yeah. But those guys, look, they went the distance.
Yeah.
They went the distance, man. I mean, I think we went a mile out, if not a little bit more. And they were right there, but yeah, they get after it.
Yeah, it was, and you know, speaking to them ladies, they got they have a how did she say that? They've expanded that park.
Mm-hmm.
They're over in the Bloomingville community now, but she said that area is going to be for hiking. You know, the bike riding will be at the thing, and I'm thinking from this event, and I'll have a flyer out for that tomorrow, for this event, Father's Day weekend, Jones Avenue. We're gonna form from there. We can I'm gonna get a list of people. You know, I need a minimum that we can go out there and have a meeting, and talk about, you know, doing things in the community.
You know, I think that's probably where we should start. We get out there and we could see what, you know, get some ideas from what, and then come back. And that'll isolate us too, so we can have grown men conversation about, you know, our role and responsibility, and hit those bikes, man, and see what we're made of. Yeah, this is awesome.
I agree. And how far ahead do we have to have this scheduled out?
Ms. Barrett is pretty flexible. I'm thinking maybe a week.
Okay,
so that's the Peninsula track that you're referring to. I haven't been out there yet. Now, you know, he also bought, and I can't remember if it's 1,000 acres or whatever. That's over there close to the Weyhauser track off of Punching Creek. So he's almost matching the state park. You know, he's buying it up, and he's pouring a lot of money into these things, man. So you know, this is the result of the Cypress Preserve. So the 1,800 acres, is that the the Butler Foundation, or is that the Weyhauser? I thought that was Weyhauser.
What's up, Jerry?
What's going on there, middle sister? Yeah, I'm doing better. I've been isolated in this house the whole time, so I guess I've got to talk to somebody.
And I heard them. I hear people saying, people will be like, man, they still doing that state park. I said, still.
Man, they moving out, man. We are moving out. So yeah, that's happening. And that's the guys. It's like I said, you know, those are the folks that let's go to the Cypress Preserve. Let's go out here and see what's happening. And so you can be informed what's going on. There's my niece. That's Miss Byrne granddaughter.
Yep.
She's a sweetheart. She played basketball too, so she's all around athlete, smart, and she loves her mayor. Okay, that's Weyhausen, and almost 1,100 acres for the Butler Conservation. Yeah, so that whole area, man. I mean, both sides of the river is getting developed, and and we're working, diligently to get our piece done with the Andrews part, so we can have access through our property out here, and something for our citizens to go out and enjoy. So it's going to be a place. And it's already a place, a destination for many that we don't see. And you know what, the young lady is out at Cadogo Farms.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's been doing that too in her property. So a lot is happening along that stretch that I encourage people to get out and be a part of.
No doubt. And one more time for the purple pickleball king right there. Oh man, listen. The pickleball king looking like Barney out there. One more time.
I'm not fooling with you tonight.
Oh man, the pickleball king. That is awesome right there. No
WNBA, what you say? Come on, give me what you got.
Oh man, I'm sitting here running my mouth talking about this.
What's your thoughts, man? I'm excited about the WNBA. I don't know about the rest of it. I'm loving all of it.
I know they had them. I know they had them girls dressed kind of weird last night. I'm just petty, I guess. I don't know.
You thought they were weird? I thought it was the guys are weird. So you get those NBA, those guys come out there with like gauchos. I don't know what they be wearing, but these young ladies were dressed. They were hitting that fashion line real hard last night.
They were, but I mean, Caitlin Clark just did not kind of look.
You didn't like it? She was dressed very nicely. And that was I don't know the name of the stuff, but I know it's very expensive.
See, and that's the whole thing. Expensive don't mean it look good. You know what I mean? They try to trick you with that. They be like, yeah, it's not a pocketbook, it's a man bag. It costs $1,500. I don't care. That's a $1,500 pocketbook that you got on, bro. Like,
I mean, what's the young lady Reese? What she was, what do you think about her outfit? Look, we talk about fashion. We're hardcore dudes. We talk about
listen, every time I see Reese come out like that, and I think about her comments, they tried to sexualize me. You doing a good job at it.
Hey, these ladies this is big time now. That's what they do. This is sports entertainment.
Yeah, and again, I had that conversation today too. Was that I hope that the older NBA players, WNBA players, I hope they embrace this for what it is. It's a shift, and they embrace these young players and bring them in and let these girls help continue to grow this brand and not try to isolate and embarrass them or
Yeah, I think they will. I just listened to some of the commentators who were former players. It seemed like they are embracing it, and I think they're doing a really good job of balancing out this thing that keeps bubbling up. Want to put Caitlin against the world or Reese against the world, and when you look, these young ladies out there taking selfies together, and they moving on. And I haven't read a lot of it, but I see now there's some debate about the contract that Caitlin is being, was awarded. It's probably I'm assuming it's the largest contract, especially for a rookie. And but again,
she's gonna command that, man. Like,
yes, of course.
You know what I mean? And they can go ahead and stop hating on that. And that's the problem I got with diversity, equity, and inclusion, because this way is gonna be a problem for me at. You know what I mean? Because you know what I mean? Like, if you ain't selling the same amount of jerseys I'm selling, you shouldn't be paid when I'm, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, she's this is where her individual stats and status and the things she's done, drives a contract like that. When you start looking at the team effort on the floor and playing together, yes, it ain't about one player. But she's built her brand. Reese has built hers in her own way. So she's getting, look at Michael. Michael, in his early days, Michael was making more money and made more money through endorsements than he did, contractually. And so I'm just, man, I'm a fan. I love to see people come up, especially people who've been held back for whatever the case may be, and they done break through that glass ceiling is no longer there, and just watch them rise. And then you watch the people on the sideline criticize them, and where they're not, doing anything to advance their, just stop being so negative about, these young ladies or anybody else who is coming up and trying to do better for themselves. I think it's going to be interesting. In fact, the good thing is that the season kicks off next month.
Yeah, and again, like I said, it's going to be the storylines. You know what I mean? They're going to have to do the same, because that's the big part of the NBA. It's not just the basketball; it's the storylines. It's the, you know, and one of the things that these ladies coming out of college have that the NBA used to have is, when a player came out of college, you knew him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You didn't live 4 years with him or 3 years with him in college, and now, you know, we don't have that anymore on the men's side, but this is happening on the women's side. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
they're taking over. I didn't even know that the men's Final Four was over, because I was
Yeah.
following, you know, and again the storyline. So you look at that whole, you know, last year's Final Four, or build up to it. You know, the things that went on between these two young ladies, that really draw people's
Absolutely. They had to
attention.
sell it. They had to sell it,
They
man.
sold it.
And as Americans, we want to see blood, man. We want to see that fight. We tune in, you know what I mean, for that. You know, and I mean, you know, it's not politically correct to say that, but that's what we tune in for, you know.
That's what we do. We go. That's every headline is going to have, you know, that hook that's going to get you into it. And the thing is, the people are still on Facebook fighting each other, making it a race issue here and there, making it a woman versus man issue here. And these young ladies are moving on with their lives and cashing in as they go. But we're allowing it to be another thing that divides us. You know, it has absolutely nothing to do with us individually.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, here's the draft, how that the top 12 picks that went down from the bottom going up. And again, I'm just have to admit, you know, a lot of these ladies I don't know, and you know, I'm sure I'll get to know over time, just to see, because this class is probably going to be that class that, you know, that's talked about, that, you know, like when Magic and Bird came into the NBA and took it to the level where, you know, Michael Jordan took over and then took it, you know, to the next level.
That's right.
But Las Vegas Aces, Elizabeth Kitely from Central Virginia Tech. You got New York Liberty for the 11th pick, took Jessica Carter from
Mississippi
State.
How about that?
Yeah, big girl. And I don't know if that's an offensive statement. Now that's big girl, but
no, these are giants, man. They're
yeah.
You're talking 6'7", 6'8". That was, you know, man.
And you had where we at now? Okay, and Connecticut took the Connecticut Sun took Helena. I can't pronounce the last name, from Arizona guard. Washington Mystic with the 9th pick took Kaylee.
Excuse me.
I can't pronounce her name, from Gonzaga. And Atlanta Dream took Isabella. That sounds like she's from Isabel sounds like she's somebody from overseas. Well, from Australia. That's what it says.
Oh yeah. All these are ballers, man.
Yep. Connecticut Sun had another pick in the first round, 7th pick. They took Tiana Jackson.
Baller, big time. I think she was the one, if I'm not mistaken, as I think it was it Tiana that had D'd up Clark. And now I think they're I have to go back and look at it. I don't want to confuse it, but man, it was just
Tiana Jackson from Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
And you got this is I remember this young lady, Kate Martin from Iowa. She went high. She went 6th. Number 5, the New York Liberty via Chicago Sky. I guess they had a trade.
Mm-hmm.
Esmery Martinez from Arizona.
You went to Juju out of USC Trojans, man. She could have come out and probably be in that top 10.
Yeah, that's Carmelo Anthony daughter. Ain't nobody gonna convince me otherwise. Camilla got a little side daughter. That girl that's what she remind me of, and she ball just like him.
Man, she's bad out there.
Okay, and this so this is the second round that
second round.
that I put up here. Yeah.
And they went through it so quickly, man. I mean, it's like three in 2 hours. They were 3 rounds of draft.
Let's see here. Is this the other round? Yeah, because yeah. So I didn't have the top 4 up there because I know what's her name and Angel Reese. What do you think about that? Angel Reese and Cardosa ended up as teammates in Chicago, Twin Towers.
I'm trying to tell you, it's gonna be a problem trying to get scored on the inside.
Yeah, I think
and they work on young lady from USC's her foot movement, and of course they'll improve.
Yeah, and that's why I think they drafted her, because I think right now out the box, I think Angel Reese is more WNBA ready than Cardosa. Cause size wise, Cardosa, she's gonna be able to play, but she still got some movement, some footwork to.
But you're right. But I'm gonna tell you, they are going to learn some real quick, because those ladies in there's like that one former player says, he said these are grown women.
Yeah. What's her name? Yeah. I can't wait to Caitlin light her up too. That's what I can't wait. I can't wait to Caitlin shut a lot of them up, because they talking that trash. Listen, I don't care who you are. You knocking it down from 30 feet consistently.
She is that good, and it's not these are not luck shots. She can create. No. She can see the floor, so she is what she's getting paid for. I'm just but then until you find a defender like the young lady from USC who just change the game with her, but that's not going to happen every night. I mean, some of your best shooters is going to find someone that has the right mix that night to give you make you have a bad game. Hers just happened in the championship game, but she's going to be lights out.
No doubt, and it's going to be interesting to see how they sustain the excitement, because the excitement is going to be there. You know what I mean? I could see couples packing the arenas early on, but it's just I want to see how they sustain this.
Well, the one thing too is that they're gonna you're gonna have to keep that tension, so it's gonna be some elbows thrown.
Oh, it's got to be. I mean, we gotta listen. This is America. We gotta have some drama now.
That's what got you there.
Yep. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. And what I would like to know, because I'm going to have the coach from Rosemary on one day this week.
Okay.
And I want to know from her, and I would like to get some insight as to how is this affecting the young girls? What is she seeing? Because I mean, even here, to hear my daughter mention the name Caitlin Clark, like, I don't remember seeing you watch no basketball, but that's just how big it
yeah,
how big it is.
And it's like a tsunami, man. It just came in and knocked, took over the news, and you barely heard anything about any other sport.
Yeah,
NBA, or rather, it was the men NCAA tournament. So how to sustain it, that's going to be up to even into the league too. How do you create? When you start to make these matchup on the games, how do you create an environment that's going to keep the excitement, keep people hooked to it?
Mm-hmm.
Not just have that old, LeBron James and Steph Curry matchup that's going to create some interest, but it's a twofold thing.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, hey man, we did an hour and a half.
Hey, I got a little energy. I appreciate it.
It's all good, man.
I was in solitary confinement in here.
Yep, man. Continue to hydrate, get yourself back together. You guys got town hall meeting on
this Thursday.
Yeah, I meant to post that. I'll post it.
And it's also that commission will be meeting in Browns Ferry this week, so I'll have to follow up with the minutes to see what was discussed.
On the same day?
Yeah.
Oh, they figured out how to get rid of you.
They figured that out. They said,
I'm already thinking through it now. I might be there. Yeah.
Has Black Jesus been showing up there?
Everywhere.
Okay, he'll have it on his live.
Yep. He was. He has a live.
I can't find him anymore.
I didn't know he had a live. Yeah, he was there recording everything. Hubcaps. He was on everything. I saw a dude recording the microwave, man. I said, yeah, it's over.
Yeah, that's all I'll say.
I appreciate your time, man. And maybe I think one of the things I'll probably want to advance to is sometimes is doing some Q&A, have it from the citizens, and as long as we keep it informational, because I'm ready, we need to have a dialogue, and if you don't mind.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
A segment for that, people keep it civil, and we'll because the more communication, hopefully, the united we become in terms of understanding what's happening in the town. Because for those who were there at the presentation last week, they got a pretty good snapshot of a lot of the things that are going on in towns, because we had to really shape what else is happening, not just asking for $10 million. What else are we doing? The initiatives that we're taking to meet that obligation as well. And so they came in. They probably came in there for one reason and left very informed. And so I need to do more of that with our citizens. So if we can get a portion of our talk time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, even tonight, I didn't say anything about it, but I had a link, and I'll provide a link for those that want to come up and engage in the conversation.
Yeah.
It's all good. But all right, sir, I appreciate you, and I'll check back in with you on Thursday about that. I'll be down that way.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be down in the area on Thursday.
All right, get yourself better too, man. We got a lot of work to do ahead. So we need both shoulders. We got to have it all in the fight.
Yeah, because I right now I'm vulnerable for a charge, and I'm telling you now, you run up on me, you get stick like a pig. Yeah.
Oh man.
But no doubt, I look forward to going down to Mexico this weekend, man.
Hey, come on out.
Yeah,
Mardi Gras style.
I'll swing down that way.
Come
Matter
on
of fact, I'll have I gotta send you Miss, I can't remember her name. I got that lady pictures. Looked at them again today. I know she's gonna be like, finally, you sent the pictures.
Who's that?
Your dad's friend.
Okay, Miss B.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got to get her. I don't know if she know we do live talk. I don't know. We might not be ready for that one yet.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I'll follow up with you with the got a project I'm trying to put together.
Okay, no doubt. All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right, sir. Appreciate you, man.